Sports Talk Show. Your host is here for the show tonight to interview our special guest. Show highlight the Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, boxing, tennis, golf, and racing. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Tune in for all the news and scores, reporting on the games and so much more. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show.
Welcome everybody. Welcome. Man, I am living it large here. We are joined with the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. I'm Alan. Glad to have you join us here on this Friday night after a lot has happened here with the hurricane coming through, Hurricane Helen. We're going to have a great show here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Glad that you're joining us. Just want to let you know up front, unfortunately, Blog Talk is down for a second week. I don't know what's going on over there, but it is down for a second week. The only way you'll be able to communicate is through the chat via YouTube, preferably. And we're going to live stream right here on Twitter. Unfortunately, you won't be able to call in because of the Blog Talk being down. Again, that is Blog Talk Radio. That is not, what us here at the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. But I did want to let you know, unfortunately, let me just put this up here for people. Unfortunately, Blog Talk Radio is down right now. Our show will be on YouTube, and it's actually going to be on YouTube. Let me change that here. And X tonight. So, yes. So let me go ahead and pull it up there. Fortunately, Blog Talk's done right now. Show will be on YouTube and X only tonight. So having said that, we don't let stuff like this stop us here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We go ahead and move forward. And that's right. We want to thank our first of one of many outstanding sponsors. That's right. We are proud to have some wonderful sponsors here at the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We're going to kick the show off right now and start by talking about one of them. He's none other than the man, the myth, the legend. None other than Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. That's right. This is one of the great flavors that you can get out of 4. There's a new flavor coming on called bourbon, Dumas, spritz, and bourbon. Talk about that a bit later. But yes, you can get one of these great flavors: honey mustard, heat wave, original, and fusion. On top of that, bourbon is coming soon, and you could get Florida sand and brick rub. That's right, some great seasonings. None other than 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. That's right. If you can't come down to 301 South 22nd Street, visit flbbqsauce.com. And it's flbbqsauce.com. You can't go wrong with any of these great flavors. The first song you heard tonight was sung by Sam Scholar Songs. We're going to talk a lot about Sam Scholar Songs a bit later, but here is another song from Sam Scholar Songs. It's a Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce song here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Let's go.
Comes in 4 varieties. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Florida Gold, honey mustard on burgers and ribs. Tasty fusion on pork and sausage. Classic taste for chicken steak tips. A hot heat wave on meatballs and ham. It's a cookout treat. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Serve on fish and vegetables. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce.
So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Make sure you guys come ahead and visit Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce right there, 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. If you can't come down to Tampa, it's all right. FLBBQSauce.com. Again, it's FLBBQSauce.com. Can't go wrong with that great sauce. I am so delighted that tomorrow morning I'm going to start my day off right and eat with the none other legend than Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. That's right. Gonna be eating breakfast with the man, the myth, the legend. You know, for those who live here in Florida, definitely it's great that you guys survived this hurricane. It's definitely always nerve-wracking, scary when a hurricane comes on through to your state. And this one here, you know, prayers to everyone throughout the whole state. Flooding, damage, you know, bodily injury. Somebody that I knew lost a car because a tree fell on top of it. Thank God nothing here has happened. You know, on my end, I know a lot of people reach out to me. Thankfully, everything was great on my end. You know, when it comes to hurricanes, just to give you a heads up, this is where you put your trust in God. You know, that's what I do. I put my trust in God and let Him, you know, figure it out. The only thing I could do really is take all the things off the porch, make sure I move those things and put them inside so there's no potential flying debris. But outside of that, there's really not much you can do. That's the way it is. When a hurricane comes through here in Florida, I put my faith in God and just let Him determine where it's going to be. That's it. That's really all I can do. And thankfully, that has been a recipe for success. And you know, I definitely pray for everybody out there. So it's great that it's now behind us. That's always a sigh of relief, you know, that it's behind us. But where I'm at here in the Tampa area, just so you know, there was no school Wednesday, Thursday, and today and Friday. But so now the good news is next week we'll be back in action. My All Pro Dad meeting was actually scheduled for Thursday. It's going to be rescheduled, but that's no problem at all. You know, we'll redo it next month. That's it. We got a lot to unpack here. If you're just joining us here, unfortunately, the Blog Talk Radio is down for a second week. Don't know what's going on. I've never had it down for 2 weeks in a row until today, but you can visit us here, watch us on YouTube and X tonight. So you'll be able to chat, chime in. Unfortunately, you won't be able to call in, but you'll be able to chime in. So, but via chat. So we're going to get the show started. We're going to analyze first and foremost, a lot to unpack. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Ravens. The Ravens are off to a 1-2 record. And let's talk about that. The Ravens actually have played, I think, a lot better in the second game and third game, but they almost gave away the third game to Dallas. And the reason why is because what I see their issue is they're having an issue of closing games out. Even at the game with Dallas, it really was a game that was blown away. But in the beginning of the fourth quarter, the Ravens really started slowing the game down as if the game was over. Look, you had a whole quarter to play. It's not over till it's over. I felt as if they should have had the mindset coming into halftime. Let's forget about the score and keep executing, keep scoring. You got to run up the score professionally. And then when there's maybe 5-6 minutes left of the game, maybe then you can go ahead and ease up. But I felt at the beginning of the fourth quarter was way too early. And lo and behold, Dallas did an onside kick, got the ball back, scored again. And by by the skin of their teeth, the Ravens was able to hold on. That was all on the Ravens. That was all on thinking you got it and you didn't have it. You have to keep scoring. And one of the things you can watch is watch the UFL, the XFL actually at the time championship. I love what Luis Perez, his mentality was. They did awesome in the first half. He got on his teammates and said, listen, stop thinking about the score. Keep going out there and executing, keep playing. Don't let up. The Ravens let up and they let the cat in the door. And luckily they was able to close the game out. But if that game would have got tied, I don't think they win that game. I really don't. So you can't stop winding down the clock at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's too early. Especially you had a good lead, but the game wasn't over. Even during the telecast, there was somebody who had the shirt 28-3, and Brady came back. Maybe 5-6, I would say less than 4 minutes on the clock, and you're up by multiple scores, maybe then. But realistically, the beginning of fourth quarter, that is the reason why the Ravens are struggling. They have a very good team. I love what they were doing. They did improve on giving Derrick Henry not just the ball, but giving him some space to run. I felt like the first game, they gave him the ball, but they gave him no lane to run, and he suffered. The Ravens also, one of the things I would take away from that is not only not letting off the gas, but you have to continue to play complementary football. You have a big back there. You have to give him lanes to run. You have another guy who is a playmaker, Zay Flowers, and likely you have to give them the ball. You have to spread it out. The great thing with Lamar Jackson, and he's my fantasy quarterback, one of my fantasy quarterbacks, is you have to kind of spread the ball around. You have more weapons now. You don't have to be one-dimensional. As long as you play complementary football and play solid defense, I think the Ravens can go far, but they need to clean those things up. And why was the question is, why was Dallas Cowboys game so close? Is because you started winding down the clock in the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's why the game got so close, and it almost ended up being another loss. Thankfully for the Ravens, I'm glad they did get a win, because that would have been, I think, for the Ravens, more worse so for the Ravens than the next team I'm going to talk about, and that's the Bengals. With the Cincinnati Bengals going 0-3, is their season already over? No. In a word, no, it's not over. They lost 3 games, and it's still early in the season. They could still come back and make a run and still have a chance to make the playoffs. I know it's fantasy football, but I started off the season 0-3. I was able to come back and make it to the Super Bowl. I lost in the Super Bowl. So it's not over yet. It's not over yet. I really don't believe it's over for the Bengals. Feel like they need to start playing better for sure. There is a sense of urgency. I definitely don't think they want to go down 0-4. But I think what affected this team early was the contract issues that they had with Chase. And that's, sometimes when you have those contract issues, you don't get the work in, the reps in, you start off kind of slow. And the Bengals definitely have not played their best football. Once they start getting the first win and they start rolling a bit, I think they'll be a team that will be back to where they were in the past. But at 0-3, no, it's not over yet. I do think the Bengals still have a chance to make a good run in the still make a run to make it to the playoffs. Still early in the season. It's a long way to go. Conversely, the Bills are off to a 3-0 start. Could this be the year that they win it all? I think the Bills are doing great. I just really think I love what they're doing. Where they're making things very different is they're spreading the ball around. That's one of the things about when you're playing complementary football. One of the things that I think hurt them a bit was the fact that when you have somebody who always wants the ball, a wide receiver that's always demanding of the ball, what ends up happening is you start force feeding that one receiver. if you want to be effective and you want to make it harder on the defense, you can't be one dimensional. You spread the ball out more. It makes it much more difficult for the defense because they don't really know where the ball is. When you have somebody who's just being a person who just is consuming the ball or wants the ball all the time, it really makes it tough because if that person's not open, you kind of don't look for the other reads. You don't look for other options, and it makes your team more dimensional, one dimensional. So I love what the Bills are doing. They've really stepped up on the defensive end too. I think the Bills are going to be a team that's going to be in contention for this to win it all. I think the biggest component to them is, can they get past the Chiefs? And the way that the Chiefs are playing versus the Bills, I think right now the Bills are playing better. And particularly where the Chiefs are kind of slacking at is, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but Travis Kelce. He's not really producing much so far this year. He's got maybe less less catches than I have fingers. I mean, he's not been doing well this year. He's not, I don't know if the age is getting up to him and he's not getting open. They're doubling him up. It's hard to say, but as of right now, the man has not been producing. That's a fact. And you can check it yourself. But yes, so the Bills, if they keep doing what they're doing, this could be one of the Bills' year. I would say they look stronger this year than they did last year, and they looked very good last year. But this year, I think they look even stronger. Props to DeMar Hamlin. He's back, got his first interception, but the defense really stepped up. The defense has to continue to do what they do. Offense is really clicking, and they got a great back there, Cook. They can go really far. They keep the ship moving in the right direction. So I'm going to get into a very, very interesting talk, and that's about Cam Newton. And I'm going to go into that in a few moments. But before we do that, what we're going to talk about, just to give you a heads up, Cam Newton said, Cam Newton should get 2 Hall of Fame jackets before Eli Manning gets one. Let me show you that quote there, and then I'm going to get into it in a few moments there. Let me pull this up just to show you guys what we're talking about here. If he gets a gold jacket before me, I deserve 2 of them. That's a quote from Cam Newton. So that's what we're going to be discussing in just a few moments. And I'm going to get into that talk. It's going to be something that you guys are going to be really like. Before we do that, though, I'm going to thank another one of our wonderful sponsors here, and that is none other than the one and only CTC ME Mortgage. That's right, CTC ME Mortgage. If you need a home here in Florida, you need one in Texas, guess what? Here at the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, we have a solution, and that is none other than the one and only Kurt McCray. That's right, Kurt McCray from CTC ME Mortgage can help you. You need to refinance. You need to sell your home. You need to rent a home. Florida or Texas is something that my man Kurt McCray can help you. Feel free to call him or text him 346-527-7564. Again, it's Kurt McCray at 346-527-7564. You can also visit them at ctcmemortgage.com. So we're going to play a third song here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. It's the CTC ME Mortgage song sang by Sam Scholar Songs. We're going to talk a lot about Sam Scholar Songs a bit later, and I'm going to talk about Cam Newton in just a few moments. But hey, let's go ahead and hear that CTC ME Mortgage song.
CTC ME Mortgage Company, they stand by their loyalty. CTC ME Mortgage Company, you can trust their honesty. Make the call today. There's no extra fees to pay. You can take a loan to own a new home. CTCME Mortgage Company, they stand by their loyalty. CTCME Mortgage Company, you can trust their honesty. Get a low interest rate, there's no need to wait. Finance a payment plan. Kurt McRae is your man. CTCME Mortgage Company. CTCME Mortgage Company. CTCME Mortgage Company.
All right. Make sure you guys give CTC ME Mortgage a call to Kurt McRae. Let him know you heard about us here in the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. 346-527-7564. Again, it's 346-527-7564. Thank you so much, CTC ME Mortgage, for being another one of our wonderful sponsors here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We tremendously appreciate you. So, yes, the question is, let me bring up that banner one more time there so you guys could get a chance to see it. Let me show it to you again there. Cam Newton states, this is Eli Manning's referring to, if he gets a gold jacket before me, I deserve 2 of them. And full disclosure, I was able to go ahead to cover the Hall of Fame event there in Texas, and it was an outstanding Goodyear Cotton Ball Hall of Fame event. When I went there, Eli Manning was one of the 7 people that did get inducted that day, and it was awesome. It was an awesome event. I was there to actually cover, Terrell Buckley, Coach Buckley, for the XFL Orlando Guardians, and that's who I was there to cover. But there was some great people that was there. One of them people was Eli Manning. So I just want to give you guys full disclosure. I have met Eli Manning. Haven't met Cam Newton in person. However, I am the type of person that is great that I meet you, but I am not going to lie. I'm going to tell you my honest assessment and give you the facts of any situation. So I'll say this much. I looked into this. Before doing the research, I felt as if Eli Manning was probably about a 75% chance of making it to the Hall of Fame. Okay. I looked into Cam Newton's argument about whether Cam is more deserving of it or Eli Manning is more deserving of it. And I hate to tell you this, but Eli Manning is far more deserving of being a Hall of Famer than Cam Newton. It's not even in the same ballpark. They're not. This is the reason why Cam Newton should stop running his mouth saying stuff, because if he didn't say this, I wouldn't have checked into it. I took him for his word for it and checked into it. Let me break this argument down. Okay. First and foremost, okay, let's look at it for what it's worth. Eli Manning has played 16 years in the NFL. Cam Newton has played 11 years in the NFL. Check this out, folks. Cam Newton has one season, just one season, where he's thrown for over 4,000 yards in a year. Guess how many Eli Manning has? Eli Manning has 7, count them, 7 seasons that he threw for over 4,000 yards in a year, in the whole season. He's thrown for over 4,000 yards 7 times to 1. Number 2, Eli Manning has over 57,000 career yards. Cam Newton, 32,000. Now you might say, okay, one played 16, one played 11. Well, there's a difference of about 25,000 yards there. So it's not going to be what you're going to give him that many more yards per career. No, That goes to Eli Manning, 57,000 yards versus 57,023 versus 32,382. Again, advantage Eli. Eli has a higher completion percentage. He has a 60.3, and he has more yards than Cam Newton. Cam Newton, 59.9. Okay. Now, this here was about equal for both. There has been 16 years that I mentioned that Eli Manning has played. Out of the 16 years, there's only been 2 seasons that Eli Manning has played less than 9 games. That was his first season and his last season. Cam Newton, he's done the same. There's been 2 seasons that he played less than 9 games. His first season, and then not his last season, but his season before his last. So to me, it's a slam dunk. Who's more deserving of it? And I haven't even mentioned the biggest X factor in this whole equation. If you just look at the stats alone, not looking at race, creed, athletic ability, it's a slam dunk to me that Eli gets it. On top of that, here's the ace in the hole. Eli Manning is the only quarterback on this planet Earth that has beaten Tom Brady in the Super Bowl 2 times. Not once, but twice. Imagine you looking at the other side of the field and you don't have Patrick Mahomes, you have the undeniable GOAT across the field, and you have to beat him twice in the biggest game of the entire season. Eli Manning has accomplished that and beat him twice. No man on this planet has done that. Look at his counterpart, Cam Newton. He has 0 Super Bowls. And the one Super Bowl he has, we all know about that fumble that he made a business decision not to jump on it. You made a business decision, you end up losing the game. This guy here is thinking about winning the game, and that's why he won 2 Super Bowls. So, 2 Super Bowls to none. So to me, it is quite the contrary. I think Eli Manning deserves two Hall of Fame jackets before Cam Newton. See, this goes back to what people have been saying. The problem with Cam Newton to me, in all fairness, I do believe has the ability to be a Hall of Famer, but his ego, his arrogance, his attitude, all downhill. It's all about dressing nice for Super Bowl for Sunday. It's about being the flies, which I don't think he dressed that nice, to be honest with you. I thought that was ridiculous. Most of the clothes he wore, just wasting money. The bottom line is this: people don't care about that. They care about what you do on the field. And particularly when you're a quarterback, you shouldn't try to be outshining everyone. You should try to be ingratiating yourself with your teammates, making sure that they think that you're just one of the guys. You're the quarterback of the team, but the goal is to win as a team and to go ahead and give them the position to do successful. To me, it is a slam dunk. If I had a ballot right here in front of my face, I would unequivocally check that box for Eli Manning to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because his first year on the ballot. And to me, after checking into this, after Cam stating this, I'm like, yo, why is Eli not even a Hall of Fame even sooner? It is undeniable. His stats are actually very impressive. I mean, I have it right here. I'm looking at it right here. 236 games played. I mean, yeah, 57,023. This is right off the ESPN career stats. You could check it out yourself. 366 touchdowns versus 32, 382, 194 touchdowns, 123 interceptions versus 244 interceptions and 5 years plus. When you want to make it to the Hall of Fame, this is, and also I didn't mention that. This is from somebody who actually has covered the NFL, who's covered the, football. And also I'm one that also covered Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I actually covered the Hall of Fame this year, and I've done events for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I've spoken to voters, and I'm telling you right now, if you want to make it to the Hall of Fame, and with all due respect, the harder Hall of Fame to make, and the hardest to me, is to make it to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. It's just very difficult for you to make it. But I'll get into that topic another day. Looking at this comparison, to me, it's a slam dunk. Eli Manning deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's going to get it. Ballot right in front of me. I would check box it. And to me, it's like, wow, Cam should have kept his mouth shut because it's not even close. It's not even close. It's like this. There's nothing that looking at Cam's stats fairly that jumps off the page that says this guy's a Hall of Famer. To be a Hall of Famer, you have to have a career. It's about your career, not having 2 or 3 great seasons. You have to have a longevity and a career that is outstanding. That's what you have to do to be a Hall of Famer. It's a career. It's a career, not 2 or 3 great years. I'll give Cam that he's had, 2 or 3 great seasons. Particularly his best season was his first season. His first season, he threw for over 4,051 yards. And ever since then, it's been downhill. Every year, it's been a decline from there. So to his argument, he's had that great first season, made a splash. Second season was very good, but not as good as the first. 38 yards, 3,369 yards. A little bit lower completion percentage. And yeah, there's nothing that jumps off this page to say that you would be a Hall of Famer. You had 2 or 3 great years, still doesn't equate to Hall of Fame. So with all due respect, I disagree with Cam, and I think he deserves to give Eli Manning, he deserves to give him an apology. Cam Newton is looking like a bully to me. Like, you just want to kind of talk crap about guys that are in the NFL who are quarterbacks playing the same position as you, but to be reality, they're playing better than you. It's not about athleticism. It's about numbers and stats and wins. That's what it's about. And to be a Hall of Famer, again, it's about a career. It's not about 2 or 3 great years. It's like, I worked in sales for many, many years. There's been people that had fantastic year or 2. Very few had 3. Very few, even fewer than that, had 4 or 5. And if you're looking at a career, even less had that. Again, Cam Newton overrates himself. He thinks he's so great, and he really wasn't that great of a quarterback. I love what my man Warren Sapp said right to his face. You were a glorified quarterback. You were a glorified running back. And I wouldn't go that far, but you were good, but you overrate yourself. Completely overrate yourself. This is not the Hall of Dressing. This is the Hall of Fame. Get back down to reality. Eli Manning, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Man, let me show that picture again. Eli Manning, after checking these stats, doing the investigation, man, that guy deserves to be in Canton, and he will get in Canton because he got the nomination. After reading this and checking into it, check box, my man's going to be in the Hall of Fame. 2 times, Super Bowl winner, only person to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice on the planet. There's nobody on the planet who has done that. Imagine you looking at the GOAT across the field and you got to beat him twice in the biggest game of the season. And one of those folks, for those who don't know, ruined Tom Brady's perfect season. Tom Brady's perfect season was ruined because of Eli Manning. And check this out. I'm going to say this one last thing. Eli Manning is the only person in the planet that if he showed up in an event and Tom Brady walked in the door, Eli Manning is the only person that has 1 up and 2 up on Tom Brady. So Tom Brady can't act like he's all that if they showed up to an event with Eli Manning there. And Cam Newton can't act like he's the man with either one of them because he's not. Cam, man, stop talking junk, man. You overrating yourself, bro. You overrating yourself. Stop it. Call in if you want to and debate me on this. I got the stats right here. You know what I'm saying? Listen, that's why you shouldn't have said anything because I looked into it. You are not in the same category as Eli Manning, period. So let's go ahead and move on. Now, talking about another quarterback. Okay, Brett Favre has disclosed that, in all seriousness, he disclosed that he has Parkinson's disease diagnosis, and some feel that karma is catching up to him. For what people are talking about there is, let me just go ahead. Okay, let me just see here. We have the knock I have against Eli being a Hall of Famer is he has 0 All Pros. I hate to say it, but the Hall of Fame is based on All Pros. I don't know if about that. He has 2 Super Bowl rings. I don't know about that. With all due respect, yes, he has 2 Super Bowl rings, and maybe he doesn't have all pros, but looking at his numbers are very good. He has 7 seasons of over 4,000 yards. That's not an easy feat. And that's what you got to look at sometimes is the X factors. With Eli Manning, yes, he compared to some of the other quarterbacks that are in the league, one of the things that I think Eli Manning, it kind of hurts him a little bit. He's not a flashy guy. He's not a very loud spoken guy. He says the right things, but he's kind of like a soft spoken type of person. That sometimes hurts him because he doesn't bring a lot of attention to himself. But I checked into the numbers, and you could check it yourself. Eli Manning, the ballot being in front of me is a checkbox. It is a checkbox. He's a Hall of Famer, and I don't give that checkbox for somebody who covers the Hall of Fame baseball, which is tough to get in. There's been a lot of great players that have not made it to the Hall of Fame in baseball, and I'm telling you, Eli Manning gets it. When I checked into this, I'm like, his stats are actually very good. His stats are actually very, very good. Aside from the Super Bowls, 7 seasons of over 4,000 yards. That's impressive. 57,000 yards plus. For those who don't know, he's only had 2 seasons where he played. Well, I take that back. He's only had 1 season that he played 9 games or less. The first season he actually played 9 exactly. The last season he only played four games. But outside of that, he has a lot of yards, and he has a couple where he has. Not only does he have 4,000, has been in 2014 and 2015, he has over 4,400 yards in those years. So to me, yeah, he's getting a check box on my view. That's just without a doubt. And again, the only person to beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. That's on this earth. And I love the fact that, that game that he played that broke up Tom Brady's perfect season. I mean, he played outstanding. He really did. And you got one thing that my dad used to always say when he rests in pieces, you got to give credit where credit's due. I wouldn't, if it was up to me, I had a ballot in front of me, I would definitely check the box for Eli Manning. He gets it. And I know he's going to get it anyway because he's on the ballot. And if anybody looks at the numbers, which they are going to look at the numbers, they're going to say the same thing. I don't see the majority of people not voting for him. So congratulations in advance, Eli. You're going to get that gold jacket. I said it here on the Alford Sports Talk show. And with Brett Favre, let me just say here, yes, Bristol Images, awesome. He definitely was fun to watch at times. No question he was. That Super Bowl that he won with the Giants, first one, was just amazing. I mean, and one thing I will say before we move on is what I loved about Eli Manning and how I knew he was going to beat Tom Brady in that game, believe it or not, was the very last interview he did right before the game started. He seemed calm, composed. He said everything that a quarterback should say. He said, you know what, if we do what we're supposed to do, we should win this game. And he said it with confidence, not cockiness. He said it with a believability. And I was watching the game. And right then when I heard what he said, literally before the game started, I was like, this guy has a great shot of winning this game. He made me a believer. And right then and there, Tom Brady and the Patriots were undefeated. It looked like it was the David and Goliath story, and the Giants ended up winning. So props to Eli. That was an awesome Super Bowl. So Brett Favre has disclosed that Parkinson's disease, he has that, and people are saying it's karma. For those who don't know, Brett Favre has gotten into this controversy and this thing about, unfortunately, allegedly stealing some funds from the poor, and now he's disclosed that he has Parkinson's disease. And I saw some of the things that people were saying, and it was pretty harsh. Nobody was really giving Brett Favre sympathy. And my response to that is, that's unfortunately what you get from people. I think I wouldn't do it. I didn't take I wouldn't take digs at him or say, hey, you got Parkinson's disease because you stole from the poor. But I will say I do agree in karma. I do believe that if you put out bad negative energy out there, things unfortunately will come back to get you. It may not be the same day. It might be a week later. It might be right instantly. It might be a day later. It might be a week later. It might be years later. But I do feel if you put out negative energy, those things do come back to haunt you. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but we can see right here where it's happened with P. Diddy. Allegedly, he's putting out a lot of negative stuff, and you could check into all of that. But yes, if you put out negative energy out there, it's going to come back to haunt you. Things that are in the dark will come out to the light. And yeah, I do think Brett Favre, he should not have got caught up into that alleged scandal of stealing money. I think it was well beneath him. You shouldn't be taking money when you're a millionaire to help your daughter out. And, he was kind of like a Robin Hood, taking money allegedly to help his daughter out with their basketball, their volleyball court. I believe, I forget the sport. But yeah, you can't do stuff like that. And you have money. You have plenty of money. You're Brett Favre. I know Brett Favre likes to save his money, doesn't waste his money, but that was overstepping, especially from one of the poorest states in the 50 state that we have. So yeah, people are not going to be remorseful of you unfortunately having this Parkinson's disease, which is, for those who don't know, the same thing with Muhammad Ali, and it's unfortunate for you to have this disease, but it's even more unfortunate to me that people are not sympathetic. But that goes back to doing dealings, unfortunately, allegedly, that it's been well reported that Brett Favre did have something to do with this missing of funds. And it's unfortunate. That shouldn't even be something that should be on your resume. So having said that, I don't agree with people saying some of the nasty things they said. I did read some of those comments, but I can't say I'm surprised. I'll say it like that. So prayers to Brett Favre, with his disease, diagnosis. But yeah, when you do shady stuff, people unfortunately are going to say that's karma, and they're not going to feel bad for you. And unfortunately, I'm not saying I agree with what they're saying, but I see where they could be saying those things. So yeah, you shouldn't have been involved in allegedly stealing money from the state, especially to take it to go ahead and pay for something else that your family and stuff like that. You had the money yourself to pay for it. You had opportunities. Not only that, you could have done fundraisers. You could have done some signings, appearances, speaking events. You could have done those things to generate the money and the proceeds from that to kind of pay for the other stuff. You didn't have to take the money allegedly and pay for the other stuff. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's a tough situation. I'm going to get into Tom Brady and we'll break down his performance in the booth. He's now got 3 games under his belt. I'm going to talk about what I think about his performance so far in the booth, people's, kind of critiques and criticism, and see if that's warranted. I'll do that in just a few moments. But first, let me go ahead and thank another one of our wonderful sponsors here. Yes, if you need to travel, if you need to go ahead and find a way that someone can help you with your destination, where it could be a cruise, whether it be a vacation, guest events, destination weddings, corporate events. Guess what? Pushpin Adventures can help you. That's right. Pushpin Adventures, it can go ahead and make that dream reality. Make sure you go ahead and give Pushpin Adventures a call right there. Call Monique at 626-838-1006. 626-838-1006. Pushpin Adventures is an opportunity for you to go ahead and take that cruise. If you want to take a cruise during Thanksgiving, you want to take a cruise during the year, Pushpin Adventures can help you. Pushpinadventures.com/version, or you can just go to pushpinadventures.com. So we're going to play another Sam Scola song. and that's a Pushpin Adventure song. Thank you so much, Pushpin Adventure, for being another one of our outstanding sponsors here on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. Let me play the Pushpin Adventure song by Sam Scholar Songs.
Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Book a trip with Pushpin Adventures. Travel on a cruise with Pushpin Adventures. Take a vacation with Pushpin Adventures. Tour around the world with Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Make a reservation with Pushpin Adventures. The best value deal with Pushpin Adventures. Plan a getaway with Pushpin Adventures. Escaping today with Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures.
All right. Definitely make sure you guys give Pushpin Adventures a call. Pushpin Adventures can be reached. Let Monique know you heard about her right here at the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. Number is 626-838-1006. Again, at 626-838-1006. You can go ahead and call Monique, or you can go ahead and visit Pushpin Adventures at pushpinadventures.com/virgin, or just pushpinadventures.com. Thank you so much, Pushpin Adventures, for being another one of our great sponsors here on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. We tremendously appreciate you. Yes, and it's awesome. Thank you. And so Tom Brady has 3 games underneath his belt. We'll break down his performance. I really think he's doing a great job. First game he was very nervous. You could tell he was. It was definitely out of his. Even with doing all the knowledge and all the checking that he has done, the best experience is actually doing the job. With any job you have, people can train you, they can teach you and show you behind the scenes of things, but better by practicing. His first time was a bit nervous. He was a little awkward. And I can understand where he's coming from. He didn't want to step on anybody's toes. Second one was much better. Third one was better too. I think he's got a 10-year deal. I think people need to relax. I think people who are, haters of Tom or mad or jealous of Tom have found an opportunity now for him to get critiqued or criticize him unfairly, because now he's in the media, but he's also doing something that he hasn't done before. He's never been in the booth. And I think people have unrealistic expectations too. Tom Brady is a very cerebral, analytical type of guy. He's not a very extremely vibrant personality. He's not that he doesn't have a bad personality, but he's not, some of the TV personalities you see on TV. He doesn't have that range of personality. He has, his demure, he's more reserved, and nothing wrong with that. And he's an analytical guy, but he's not, like Stephen A. Smith, or he's not a Shannon Sharp. He doesn't have that type of personality. I think people need to keep it in his perspective. He's going to get better. And the main thing I think that will make him better is more relaxed and comfortable. More than anything, once you get more relaxed and comfortable, things will start to flow a lot better. And you can see that in his progression. But he's in it for the long haul. 10 years, guys. 10 years. You gotta give him at least a season or two. And then I think around the third season, you can really kind of look at it. But he's progressing well. He's doing great. He's not as much awkwardness. And he's gonna get there. And people said, "Hey, he's not giving you like real deep insight." I think that's done on purpose too. Like it's great to watch sports and one play-by-play commentator, and that's another thing. It's not that easy of a job. Being a commentator is not that easy. It's not as easy as it looks. That's another thing you have to keep in mind. But one commentator who's done outstanding and has improved and done great is Tony Romo. What I love about Tony Romo is that he'll kind of give you insight and tell you what you should expect in the next play. And lo and behold, that's usually what happens on the next play is what he thought was going to happen. And I think Tom will get there. I think also Tom doesn't want to give out too many secrets, I think, because he's still newly retired and I think he's still a competitor. But I think as he kind of goes along and feels like, you know what, I'm not playing. It's okay if I give some nuggets here and there. I think you'll get more in-depth analysis. What I think, that's purposely him not trying to give out so many secrets because he's a goat. He doesn't want to give out secrets. I think where the other guys could take his advice and become the goat that replaces him. So you're gonna, he's still a competitor. So he's gonna get better as time goes on. Give him a little bit of slack. It's improving every week. The man will get there, and I think the pundits will also understand that, hey, just because he may have beaten your team in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl, you can't take that out against him. You got to be fair in your criticism with him. Give Tom a break, cut him some slack. And hey, people love to watch people on TV and critique and criticize them. I will let you know that is not as easy as it looks. It really is not. When you work in the media, especially commentating, you have to look at cameras. Not only that, you're so many things are going on. You have the play happening. You have to give a good in-depth analysis. Your personality has to come in, and then also it can't be any awkwardness. You can't fumble over your words. You have to know stats. And on top of it, a lot of times I've had the player sheet in front of me of all 56 players on each team, 53 players on each team. Some players, their names are hard to pronounce, and it's not as easy as it looks. So cut him some slack. He gonna get there. And we're gonna talk about switch gears and talk now about some collegiate football. That's right. We're gonna talk. This is gonna be cool because we're gonna talk some college football here. So first and foremost, we're gonna talk a little bit about Reggie Bush. For those who don't know, Reggie Bush is suing the University of Southern California. He's also included in this lawsuit the Pac-10, the Pac-12, I beg your pardon, the Pac-12 conference, and the NCAA for using his name, image, and likeness without compensation. Many view this lawsuit as an ungrateful, financially struggling athlete seeking back pay. Does Reggie deserve a chance? Does he stand a chance of winning? Yeah, I would have to say initially when I heard this lawsuit, I was probably with the majority of people. Okay, you haven't played football since, and yes, you were electric, you were the man, but that was 2004, 5. Let me get the exact year here. And you going back over 15 years, you know, and that's the thing. I was thinking the exact same thing, like, okay, Reggie, man. Yes, and not to say that I disagree with him, and but he played 3 years for USC. For those who don't know, I was like, man, this is I don't know, Reggie, man. You're going back some years now. 2000. Okay, you talking about 2003, 2004, 2005. That's 20 years ago. So I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, hey, man, this is Man, I know that things might be, price of things are going up, and I get it. And people are making that NIL money nowadays. Back in the days, Reggie, and not just Reggie, but a lot of people could not cash in at that time. And even I said many, many years ago that I always said I disagree with the NCAA making it so they threw these sanctions out that you could not make money. Because even if you have your education paid for, you have a top rate scholarship, which I know Reggie probably had, it doesn't cover all your expenses. You have room and board, you have food, you have, some places, a lot of players and people have apartments off campus, you have rent, you have books. Sometimes the books are not covered. You have school supplies. There's these incidentals. And even if your education is free, these things are not covered. So, yes, when it came to Reggie Bush, I was thinking to myself, man, and not just Reggie, but yeah, I've always felt as if collegiate players should get compensated for their time. I don't think it should be you can't make anything, and if you do make something, you get a penalty. You know, there's nothing wrong with you getting your little hustle on while you can, while you kind of eating while it's good. One great person told me, "Hey, Alan, you got to eat the spaghetti while it's hot, not while it's cold. When you're in high school, college, first in the pros, it's only a window of opportunity you have that you have a chance to use your name, image, and likeness." So I do think, aside of this lawsuit, that collegiate players, and I've been saying this for a while, should and do deserve to get compensated. Having said that, I did check into Reggie's lawsuit, and I did hear from some experts, some attorneys, and looked at the whole big picture, taking, again, my initial thoughts on the back burner and looking at this case for what it is. Basically, I think Reggie does have a very good shot at winning this lawsuit because they, number one, have given him back his Heisman. So he got the trophy, he's got his records back, he's in the record books and everything. He got his win back. So that was the first step. So he got the trophy. Now he's trying to get the money. Another thing is this: they did say, NCAA, for people who did go ahead and lawsuit, they retroacted it to 2015. Well, I mean, Reggie is way past 2015, but it's basically, you know, 20 years ago. Basically, you're basically extending the retroactive some years back. So I do think with the amount of money the NCAA, the Pac-12, and USC made off of Reggie, which is clearly in the millions, it doesn't take a genius to know that Reggie was electric, one of the biggest names in USC. I do think Reggie does have a chance of winning this lawsuit. In fact, I'll even go as far as saying I'll be more surprised if he doesn't win than if he does win this. I do think what I think is going to happen, USC, the Pac-12 conference, and the NCAA will probably set on a lower figure for each one, maybe 2 or 3 million from each party instead of one paying 10 or whatever. They spread it out. Let's say 2 million each. That's a $6 million award. You figure 1.5 million will go to his attorney. Uncle Sam will take the other two. And since he's in California, let's just say 2.5 million, because the taxes and the way that things are in California is the absolute worst. So with it all being said and done, I think with taxes and everything excluded, attorney fees, I think Reggie will just make about 2 million, maybe just a little tick below or right at $2 million take home. And at the end of the day, it's, hey, a win is a win is a win. So yes, I do think Reggie will win this lawsuit. I'll be most surprised if he doesn't. I look at Reggie as being like the tale of, man, of two things. A guy that was absolutely sensational during those 3 years in USC, got all his fame. He didn't have the fortune, obviously, because of the NCAA, but he had plenty of fame. Everybody knew who Reggie Bush was. And then, he started dating Kim Kardashian, which even bolstered his popularity even more. So he had plenty of fame, but money, not as much. Then on top of it, I feel, bad for him because allegedly what happened with his family with taking that fringe benefit of the home caused Reggie to go through the process of losing his Heisman, getting his record stripped, and then many moves later he got it back, but he had to pay the damage for that. And nowadays that would be nothing. That would be, hey, you just getting a house, that's it. You're not getting a few bill, you know. So it just goes to show you that the times change and some people benefit from the times changing, some people don't. And I look at Reggie being the poster child of being sensational in the wrong generation, but he's going to get some money. I do think he's going to win this lawsuit, and I think people need to chill out a bit. He is entitled to get some of this money back. That back pay, back pay in his case. So I hope he does get something. I don't know what the exact amount that they're suing for, but I would be thinking he'll probably get us 2 million from each one of those parties at least. Uncle Sam gets theirs, attorney, he'll get just around take home around 2 million, maybe a little less, a little more, but right around there. And speaking about college football, we'll examine the Colorado versus Baylor game. I have to tell you, folks, man, that game was a sensational game. That was the best college game that I've watched in a long time. It was very competitive, very entertaining. You didn't know who was going to win. I will say this much: watching the game, I do feel as if, believe it or not, Colorado, I felt, was the better team. I felt like even with them being down, looking objectively, I felt as if Colorado was a tick better than Baylor the whole game, except Baylor had the lead. Some phenomenal plays by some of the players, particularly the wide receivers for both Baylor and Colorado. And is Travis Hunter the Heisman frontrunner? Travis Hunter, man, he played sensational. He played sensational, and I would say he is the front runner, but he has to continue to stay healthy, and he has to continue to not think about buying his own hype. He needs to put that in a back burner and keep playing. The fact that he can play corner and wide receiver, and he does both of them extremely well, gives him an advantage. I not that he doesn't deserve it otherwise, but it definitely the fact that you're playing two positions, offense and defense, and he's playing both of them at an extremely high level, it's unique. And yeah, I mean, that was just a great play for him to put the helmet right on the ball when the guy jumped into the end zone. And I know this is what people like to do, man. I hate when people do this. People don't like Deion Sanders, so they'll find a way to kind of take away somebody's win when it's undeserving. The guy jumped into the end zone. Travis Hunter put the helmet on the ball. Before he crossed the plane, the ball was coming out. Watching the replay, it was a legitimate fumble. It was not a score. The ball went out of the end zone. It's a touchback. That wouldn't have been such a bad thing, but this was overtime. So you don't get the score. The game was officiated properly on that call. Colorado won, and to me, they were the more deserving team to win. I know people don't like Deion, so they take it out on his team, but the more deserving team to win, to me, was Colorado, particularly the athletic play Shador. But I do think Travis Hunter is, without a doubt, the front runner to win the Heisman. It is not over. We're just 3 games in. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay hungry. He's got to stay humble and have an outstanding season, because if he doesn't get it, Shador can make a good case for it, and somebody else could pop up throughout the season. So it's not over yet, but he's tracking and trending. It is on the right path to get it. And, one of the things, too, that I have to say about that game, it was a well-coached game by Deion Sanders. You could tell the maturation in year 2. The game was close, and even guys were starting to get kind of like celebratory. He calmed them down. That's not easy to do with guys that are that young. He didn't get too high, didn't get too low. A very well coached team, very well coached. Got to give Deion Sanders a lot of credit. He did a phenomenal job coaching to win that game, and you got to give credit where credit is due. So my dad used to say, May rest in peace. Got to give credit's due. And yeah, Colorado deserved to win that game. They did win the game. Travis Hunter did phenomenal. Shador did also very good. He got a lot out of a lot of bad situations because of his athleticism. I don't think he was the superstar of the game. Still was Travis. And yeah, Colorado's going to do big things. And I love what they were doing. Props to Deion Sanders. Props to, Colorado for that big win. So what we're going to do is talk about Thursday Night Football. They did talk about Brandon Aubrey, who was a former USFL player. During that, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on what they said about Brandon. I'm also going to talk about the Yankees winning the AL East. Are they the team to beat? Those two topics are coming up next on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We're going to take a quick little break, and then I'm going to come back and talk about those things. We're going to take a little 2-minute break here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. A lot more to come. Don't go anywhere. So, yes, we're going to go ahead and play another Sam Scola song, and we'll take that break and be right back. Let me go ahead and play that for you right now. Let me go ahead and pull this up. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys. Right. So, yes, let me just say all the great music, all the great songs you're hearing here are sang by none other than the great Sam Scola Songs. Thank you, Sam Scola Songs, and his wife, Mary. All the music you hear here tonight is by Sam Scola Songs. Hey, if you need a great songwriter, you want a song written, this guy, Sam Scola Songs, can help you. There he is, the one, the only Sam Scola Songs. Want to thank him and his wife, Mary. Sam Scola Songs right there. They are awesome. And you can go ahead and listen to all these great songs. They're available on YouTube and Spotify. And you can also go ahead and reach Sam Scola Songs right there. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. And the great thing is, with all of the wonderful sponsors that you see here, show supporters, they also can be seen, their websites can be accessed right there at AlanAlfredSportsTalkShow.com. Again, it's AlanAlfredSportsTalkShow.com. You want to get more about Sam Scola, you can go ahead and access everything right there. You want to hear about Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, CTC ME Mortgage, and Pushpin Adventures. They're all accessible right there at AlanAlfredSportsTalkShow.com. Just click on sponsors. You can reach anybody that's connected to the show. Another great thing for you guys to know about AlanAlfredSportsTalkShow.com, you can reach and watch all of the prior episodes. And on top of that, you have an opportunity to get shout out here on the show. That's right. You can do, nice things. You get your name mentioned here live during the show. Also, we do birthday shout outs and a lot more. Check it out there, AlanAlfredSportsTalkShow.com. Thank you so much, Sam Scola Songs, for being our musician. Thank you so much for all that you do here on the Alan Alfred Sports Talk Show. So, yes, and then we're going to get into some UFL talk and USFL talk as well. I did watch Thursday Night Football. They did showcase the USFL player and kicker, Brandon Aubrey, who was also on my fantasy football team from the Dallas Cowboys, a kicker for the Dallas Cowboys. I thought it was nicely done, but I did feel underserved and disappointed in a way. I see what the NFL is trying to do. They're trying to take all the credit, not giving prior leagues or prior teams their shine. They really didn't talk about much about him being with the USFL. Brandon Aubrey was a kicker from the USFL, taken, and now he's doing big things in the NFL. They didn't really talk about that much. If you watch that that broadcast, it was kind of like glossed right over. Look, check these guys' backgrounds. The UFL is awesome, and guess what? I'm going to be going ahead and covering a UFL event tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I'm sorry, Sunday this weekend, and that's going to be the Orlando Showcase right there, 7:00 in the morning. Celebration High School, Sunday, the 29th. That is correct. And you get a chance to go ahead and showcase your talent. You can be another Brandon Aubrey. That is correct. You're going to get a chance to see the coaches there. It's a long day. What I would suggest is for those who are going to the showcase, ball out, but be prepared. Get there early. Have yourself a good breakfast before you get there. Make sure you have some Gatorade, some energy drinks, because it is a long day, whether you're in offense or defense. You want to be at your peak performance throughout the whole day. Hey, these are the numbers here. You have a chance of making it UFL to the NFL. 62 players from modern spring football are currently active in the NFL. Some of them on the practice squad. Some of them are playing. So it is a great opportunity for you. Don't take it lightly. That's Darryl Johnston. I'm excited to cover the event. I'm actually kind of curious to see who shows up, player wise, coaches wise, personnel wise for the UFL. I'm curious to see who is going to attend. So we will find out Sunday. I will be there. Yes. Since they didn't talk about the broadcast, the Brandon Aubrey came from the USFL and now the Spring Football League. He's playing and doing big things in the NFL. They seem to conveniently gloss over that during that that interview. So they did mention it, but it was real quick and fast, and they just, you'd have missed it if you weren't paying attention. So props to what we're gonna do is switch gears a little bit and talk a bit about some great baseball. That's right, Major League Baseball news. The Yankees win the AL East. Congratulations to the Yankees doing big things. Yeah, that's awesome that the Yankees were able to win the AL East, which is a very tough division to win. Very tough division to win. And they was able to close out the deal, close the show, and get the end up winning the AL East. So there's a lot of baseball left for other teams. Yes, so the Yankees closed the deal. And It's going to be interesting to see. The biggest nemesis, I think, for the Yankees getting winning all is getting it past the Astros. The Astros seem to have their number, but one of the questions that people ask is the Yankees a team to beat? Mm, I know John Carlos Stanton would disagree with this, but no, I don't think the Yankees are the team to beat. I hate to say it like that, but realistically, it's the Astros. The Astros seem to do really well, and particularly against the Yankees, they seem to do really well once they get into the postseason. They flip a switch, and the Yankees have not figured them out. They have not. The Yankees are always running second fiddle to the Astros. So I would respectfully disagree with John Carlos Stanton and say no, the Astros are still the team I think to beat. If the Yankees can get past the Astros, they they have a very good chance, but it's still a long way to go. I'd like to see if they can get to the World Series first and foremost, because if they have to go through the Astros, until the Yankees get past the Astros, I still think the Astros have the leg up on the Yankees. But one thing that I do think has a leg up and is going to capture a second MVP is Aaron Judge. I don't see him. There's no way he doesn't get it. 58 home runs. His team won the AL East. The man's been balling out. He haven't had a lot. He hasn't missed much time this year. So, knock on wood, he's been very steady with the injuries. And yeah, he's going to get capture a second MVP, which is outstanding. That's going to be two MVPs for Aaron Judge, the captain of the Yankees. It's a slam dunk as far as I'm concerned, him getting it. And Shohei Ohtani is going to get in the NL. So you'll have Aaron and you'll have Shohei Ohtani both getting it. See, that's the thing. If you're the best player on the best team and it's a situation where there's really nobody close, it's not like there was another player that maybe their team wasn't as good and they made it. I don't see anybody really coming up really close to those two guys. But Aaron Judge is going to get number two. That's you could carve that trophy right now, that plaque. He's got it. And you guys are awesome, man. I really, you know what? I'm really in awe that I have this show, the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. It's a real blessing. It's awesome. I just thank God for it. I'm very grateful and appreciate you guys putting, the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show in this position. I got a chance tomorrow, get a chance to hang out with Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. Then on Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and cover the UFL Showcase. Couple weeks, we have the Florida Sports Hall of Fame coming up. So these are some great events that are coming up here that I'll be covering. And I'm going to give you guys my predictions for this week 4. We're in week 4 already. So the Cowboys and the Giants did play. I did have the Cowboys winning, and no surprise there. Cowboys have there. It's kind of like It's kind of like the Yankees. It's kind of like the Yankees and the Astros. The Astros are the Yankees' kryptonite. If they get past them, I think the sky's the limit. But the Cowboys are the Giants' kryptonite, and it showed again. The Cowboys were able to go ahead. That's one team they usually don't have an issue getting past, and that's the Giants. So I'll give you my predictions. We have the Bengals versus the Panthers. Yes, I think the Bengals get their first win. We have the Saints versus the Falcons. It's going to be a very good game, actually. I really do think it's going to be a very good game, but I do think the Saints pull it out. I have the Saints winning. We have the Jaguars and the Texans. I think the Jaguars got a good spanking the last time. I think they're going to lick their wounds and get back into it. So I have the Jaguars winning. But I wouldn't be surprised if Texans did win. But I do have the Jaguars winning. We have the Broncos versus the Jets. I think the Jets are going to pull this one out against the Broncos. The Broncos actually have been playing pretty good, but I do think the Jets will pull this game out. We have the Vikings versus the Panthers. I'm sorry, the Vikings versus the Panthers. Vikings versus the Packers. So this could be a competitive game too, but I do think the Vikings are going to win this one. Steelers versus the Colts. It's going to be a good game, but I do think the Steelers are going to pull that one out. The Rams versus the Bears. Should be competitive, but I do think the Rams are going to win this one. Eagles against the Bucks. You know, I'm picking the Bucks because they're my team, but I'm not so confident about the Bucks beating the Eagles. Just being real, but I'm going to take the Bucks. We have the 49ers and the Patriots. Do have the 49ers win this game, but I definitely do think the Patriots are playing really well, but I do think the 49ers will pull out this game. Commanders and the Cardinals, that should be a very, very good game. I definitely like what Washington's doing, but I do think the Cardinals will find a way to win this game. Chiefs and the Chargers going to be a very good game, but I do have the Chiefs winning. Browns and the Raiders. It should be interesting to see. I have the Browns actually pulling this game out. Bills and the Ravens. That's going to be a very, very competitive game. Very, very good. But I just think I liked what I'm seeing with the Bills a little too much. I think the defense has stepped up. I'm going to go with the Bills beating the Ravens. And we have the Titans versus the Dolphins. This is going to be a very good game, but I think the Dolphins get a win here. Seahawks and the Lions. Going to be a good game as well. I have the Seahawks beating the Lions. And I'm going to give you my Thursday night prediction. I do have the Bucks beating the Falcons. So the Bucks going to win the next two games. So we got them beating the Eagles and the Falcons for Thursday night football. So that's going to be really cool. And definitely going to be a great week. So yes, guys. And just if you haven't known, now you're going to know. Let me pull this up here. Again, sorry again that the Blog Talk Radio was down for a second week. So we're on YouTube and X. And don't forget to visit the great website, AlanAlfredSportsTalkShow.com. You can go ahead and see some really cool things there. A lot more happening. And I want to go ahead and thank you guys for everything. Thank you for another great episode and for chiming in. We had Bristol Images, my guy, man. This guy's a man. Take some outstanding images. In fact, make sure you guys talk about professional photography. I think Bristol Images should do a vlog of him doing behind the scenes NASCAR racing. Bristol Images should go ahead and take advantage of that. I saw a really cool video. I want to mention that too. So an awesome video by the LA Chargers photographer, their professional photographer. It's like a 15-minute video. Man, it was awesome to see what they do behind the scenes. I thought Bristol Images had a lot of expensive equipment. It's just ridiculous the amount of expensive equipment this photographer has. And in fact, let me go ahead and give him his props for doing it. Let me go ahead and do that too. Okay. Let me go ahead. Give me one moment here. Okay. Mike Nowak. Mike Nowak has been the Chargers team photographer for 25 years. And the title of it is Everything an NFL Photographer Does on Game Day, LA Chargers. And it's just a great video. If you guys are into professional photography, to see what they do is awesome. And yes, want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors here. Let me start from the very top. Want to thank Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, which I'm going to talk about him in a moment. Thank you, CTC, ME Mortgage, thank you so much, Pushpin Adventures. And thank you to our awesome songwriter, and that is Sam Scola Songs and his wife, Mary. Thank you all. Again, all of Sam Scola Songs are available on YouTube and Spotify. And you can visit any one of their great websites, in case you missed it, at AlanAlfordSportsTalkShow.com. You can access Sam Scola and our sponsors right there. And thank you all for watching another great episode of the Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. Please stay connected. Please subscribe to YouTube at Alan Alford. There you go. Twitter or X, Alan Alford. And finally, you can reach us at Alan Alford Sports Talk Show, Facebook. So you guys are awesome. Really appreciate you. And don't forget, you got to make sure you take advantage of Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Make sure you visit Chef G's right here in Tampa, 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. If you can't come down to Tampa, make sure you visit flbbqsauce.com, and it's flbbqsauce.com. Really appreciate you, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Going to be seeing him first thing in the morning. That's a great way to start the day. Eating breakfast with the one and only Chef G's. So without further ado, let's play another Sam Scola song, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce song. Let's go.
Comes in four varieties, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Florida Gold Honey Mustard on burgers and ribs. Tasty fusion on pork and sausage. Classic taste for chicken steak tips. A hot heat wave on meatballs and ham. It's a cookout treat. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Serve on fish and vegetables. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce.
All right, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Make sure you don't forget to visit Chef G's right there at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. And if you can't come down to Tampa, visit them at flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. Don't forget that wonderful sauce. That's right. So yes, definitely really appreciate Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Always a pleasure. And definitely, you guys, make sure you don't forget flbbqsauce.com. Get that great sauce. So, yes, that brings us to the conclusion of another great episode of the Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful. Really appreciate your support. Again, stay connected. Just go ahead and visit that website, AlanAlfordSportsTalkShow.com. Get everything there. Watch prior episodes and a lot more. Again, I apologize that the Blog Talk Radio was down, but you guys made the show fantastic. We make it happen. So have a great weekend. Be blessed. Be well. Take care of yourself and have a great night. I'll see you guys again. Take care for now.
It's the end of the show. Let's thank all the fans before we go. It's the end of the show. The Allen and Sports Talk Radio Show. Thanking our special guest. Thanking our sponsor. It's the end of the show. Tune in again for next week's show. It's the end of the show. Thanking our host before we go. It's the end of the show. It's the end of the show.